Feel the power of
So, yesterday, of course, we watched football. Saturday, of course, we watched football. Um, a lot of playoff football this weekend, and I am definitely going to talk about it because it still is football season. Although it is basketball season, but it's playoff football. Who doesn't watch playoff football, right? Um, First things first, the Ravens, which was very very inspiring yesterday, being that it was Ray Lewis's last home game. I watched the whole game, and I think that, of course, big ups to the Colts. They made it further than I thought they would make it without Peyton Manning, and they basically, they made a little noise. I don't think they played really bad. I just think that they, if Ray Lewis is extra inspired by whatever, and he has a playoff experience, I think that kind of played a huge part in them winning the game based on experience. I think Andrew Luck played pretty well. I mean, although he had some key turnovers, and he looked a bit, shaky at times, but I think for the most part, he is going to be a great quarterback in this league, and he's definitely somebody to watch come next season. I just really like the way the Ravens defense played yesterday. They played above expectations. I didn't think that they would play as good as they did yesterday, but I think that they've definitely put everybody on notice, or they definitely put the next team that they're playing on notice that they're coming to play some defense. And I think they will be the same next week when they play the New England Patriots and whatnot. But for me, I think that the New England Patriots will probably win this game based on the sheer fact of rest. And, of course, Ray Lewis, he did play great. But I honestly don't think he's at 100% with that other arm. That brace is probably going to hinder him a lot more than it was last week, or than it was this past game against the Colts. So I think that they definitely will be playing really good defense, but in the end, I would probably pick the Colts. Not the Colts. What am I saying? I would probably pick the New England Patriots to win this game by at least 10. I would probably say, let's see, 20 to 10, because it will be a low-scoring game. Ravens still, to me, still has a very elite defense, and they still are making really really good plays on the ball. So I don't think that New England Patriots will put up as many points as they're used to or accustomed to putting up. But I honestly think that they will win this game by at least 10 points. Just by the sheer fact of I don't know. I guess if Ray Rice is playing great, they would probably put up more than 10 points. But Joe Flacco just simply throwing the ball. I mean, yesterday, against the Colts, Anquan Bolden caught a lot of good balls. That's what she said. Anquan Bolden caught a lot of good passes, and I think that may be somewhat of a factor. But going against Tom Brady and how great he is, I just don't think that Joe Flacco would throw as good as he did against the Colts. Although I think that the Colts defense looks better than the New England Patriots' defense, but I don't know. I just don't think it will be his week next week, because he just always seems to come up short in pivotal moments such as this game right here, especially with one of the best offenses in the league that he's one of the best quarterbacks ever that he's going up against. I just think that he's just going to end up not doing so well. But that's my pick for the next game. And now I'm going to the RG3 and the Washington Redskins and the Seahawks. I didn't see much of that game. I seen a little bit of it. But from what I seen from the highlights, it looks like, well, from what I seen before RG3 got pulled out, it looked like RG3 was playing a lot more hurt than he was in the past week against Dallas, and well, the past couple of games when he came back from his injured knee. It just looked like his knee never fully recovered, or didn't get enough time to recover. And maybe if they would have had a bye week, it would have been a lot better for him. But he even said it himself that he did not want to come out the game, regardless of how hurt he was. He just said, I'm not injured, I'm just hurt, I can still play. I think that shows a lot of heart, but I think it just shows a lot of heart to a fault, because this is his first playoff game. He's a rookie, and they need him long term. They don't need him to injure his knee anymore. They don't need it to be a problem next season. So, I do agree that if I was a coach and my quarterback, as great as RG3 is, told me that he could still play, I would put him in. But I think around the second quarter or the third quarter, I probably would have pulled him out, just on the sheer fact, and explained to him that, hey, we need you next season. We need you the season after that. So I don't want you to be hurt come next season. If you're hurt right now, we can get you fixed up and wait for next season, and hope for the best, or at least hope for the backup quarterback to win the game. But RG3 went up to coach. He even said he respects authority and everything, but he went up to coach and he was going off of pure adrenaline, basically saying that he was good to go and he was good to play. So I don't know. I think it was mixed emotions with the game being so close for a minute, and Mike Shanahan being put in the corner, as in his quarterback saying he's okay, and he was still playing relatively good until that messed up snap that he had to really be like, dang, maybe I should have pulled him earlier. I think if the snap wasn't that bad, in reality, he probably wouldn't have tweaked his knee as much as he did. He probably still would have been playing, and he probably would have led them to a touchdown. But that seems to not be the case, and his knee was re-injured yet again, and it kind of sucks. It's like, you didn't want your quarterback to be injured like that, especially with the game being so close, and at the same time you have to think of his long-term health, and you want him to be healthy come next season and the season after, knowing you guys can win 10+ games. Because with their division next year with the NFC, I think that they can win again. I think they can definitely go to the playoffs next year. I think that the offense is good. It's not great, but it's good enough for them to win at least 10 games. I would say in the offseason, make a couple of trades or sign a couple of receivers or something, just to bulk up your team a little bit. I would say offensive line is great. I think the receiving core could use some work, regardless of one of my favorite receivers in the game, Santana Moss. I think the receiver core could use a little bit of work, because they weren't as relatively healthy as they should have been. But all in all, the defense is pretty decent. I think they can definitely beat Dallas. Hopefully my Eagles make some pivotal trades and bulk up my offensive line, where we could be formidable next year. But I think that they can definitely win 10 games next year, and that's saying a lot, me being an Eagles fan and everything. But I know that we just got rid of our coach, and we just got we're basically in rebuilding mode. I think we're looking at getting rid of Michael Vick and starting over fresh. So I'm really not going to count my team in as winning. I'm not going to be stupid and count them in as winning 10+ games come next season. If they do, that'd be great, because I don't mind winning. But I know we're in rebuilding mode, and I know we have to pretty much start fresh. We do got some good pieces though. We still have Deshaun Jackson. We still have LaShawn McCoy. So we will be fine as far as on the offensive side. I just hope that our defense gets a little bit better, and I hope that our offensive line gets a little bit better. Just for whoever our new quarterback is, will be a lot more protected than Michael Vick was, because in all honesty, I don't think that it was completely Michael Vick's fault of him getting benched or all those turnovers. It's just that our defense, not our defense, our offensive line, it was just so bad. Like, our offensive line was so horrible. I don't know. I think that was probably the worst line I've seen since Detroit Lions Barry Sanders' offensive line, and that's saying a lot. If you know, if you've been watching football long enough and you know who Barry Sanders is, which if he was the Detroit Lions running back, to me the greatest running back of all time. The line was horrendous, and he pretty much made every play on his own because the line was so damn bad. And that's what made Barry Sanders, to me, one of the greatest, the greatest running back in the game. Because if he would have had an offensive line, his records would have easily been unreachable. And I just wish that my team would go out and grab some formidable people to help pass protect our new quarterback, whoever that is. But I digress. Let me go back to the Washington Redskins and the Seahawks. Seahawks played great. Wilson will be a great quarterback as well, and I like the way the Seahawks are looking. The Seahawks, I think, to me, has the best defense in the league, and they look really great. Their new jerseys are awesome, and I don't know. It's just I haven't seen the Seahawks be this good since Sean Alexander. I think was that his name? That running back that played a couple of good seasons, and then he ended up, disappearing, and nobody probably remember who he is. But I think I don't know. I wouldn't pick them to win the Super Bowl, but I picked them to win. I picked them to win that game since RG3 wasn't 100%. Next week, I just don't think that they're gonna win against the Broncos. I don't know. Peyton Manning, he has a chip on his shoulder. His brother won last year. I know he's trying to one up his brother, or at least even out, even the playing field a little bit and get 2 rings just as well as he got. So Denver Broncos, they're scary. And with Peyton Manning playing the way he is, MVP type season, I really doubt that they're going to go to Denver and play like they did against RG3, which RG3 was injured and everything like that. So I don't know. And Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time as well. So honestly, it would be fun. It's going to be fun to watch, and I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on, Russell Wilson, if that's his name, Wilson. I'll be keeping my eye on him to see how he does against one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, and Peyton Manning. So the playoffs is getting heated up, man. It's getting really interesting, and I don't know if being that how great the Seattle Seahawks defense is, if everybody knows defense wins championships, if they could pull out a win against the Broncos, I would definitely pick them to win a Super Bowl. That's just my opinion because I already, everybody knows defense wins championships, not offense. Offense has to be somewhat decent, which they are. They have a good offense, but defense wins championships, and I think they would, if they can steal a win against the Broncos, they would definitely win the Super Bowl. I would pick them to win. They would be my pick to win the Super Bowl. And I think that the Ravens will, Ray Lewis's last game will be next week. It sucks, but that he couldn't win a Super Bowl, but I just don't think that they're that great to win the Super Bowl this year. They could surprise me. I don't know. They could go on inspiration all the way to the Super Bowl. And if that happens, hey, good. That would be a perfect way to cap off a career. But as far as Ray Lewis, man, sorry I can't pick you next week. But it's been great having Ray Lewis around, and he is one of the greatest linebackers of all time. Of course, to me, it's Lawrence Taylor, the greatest. I think he would be second. With that being said, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.